Boys. Spain has done it. Beautiful football has prevailed. Saj is sleepy. I am sleepy. But that is no excuse. That is no excuse, my friends. You have to be locked in. There are certain people that claim to be locked in that have been claiming Olivier Giroud would be make or break for this France team for the past month. They are not locked in today. They are not here. Jono is probably asleep right now. But you guys are with me. Thank you for watching throughout the Euros. The support on the channel has been amazing. Spain beats France 2-1, Saj. Where is your mind at, my friend?
I came in thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be a super one-sided affair. Spain is going to.
Mm.
Wait 1 second. Technical difficulties. Sorry. Spain's going to absolutely smash France. I did not think it was going to be close. And then the first goal from Money just completely threw my head away. So yeah, that first half might have been the best football I've seen in this entire Euros for a while. It was so exciting. It was very end to end. There was actual
Mm.
goals. It was definitely one of the better games of the tournament. Very worthy of a semi-final performance, I think.
Exactly right. And Spain, they don't exactly score against the run of play,
Mm.
but they sort of do. Lamine Yamal, and we'll talk about him. We'll talk about him
Yeah,
probably for like 5-10 minutes today.
yeah,
He does what he does. I saw a tweet that summed it up perfectly. Everyone was saying he can't shoot, he can only cross. He just goddamn crossed the ball into
yeah,
the goal
yeah.
with that same whipped technique, which is so cracked, so cracked.
It's
And then Danny Olmo, who everyone thinks is this RB Leipzig, Moscow sort of pace and power guy. People forget he was in the Barcelona academy. Tchouaméni, absolutely flawed, and
yeah.
then goes in off Kunde, but it is what it is. 2-1 in the space of 5 minutes to bounce back in the first half. And then the rest of the game is just about keeping the goddamn ball.
Yeah.
Keeping the goddamn ball. And I want to get your thoughts on this a little bit later. But while
Mm.
we are on the main man, on the main topic, Lamine Yamal is 16 years of age. Jesus Navas is 39 years of age. Together, mainly Lamille, but I'm going to give Jesus Navas respect for not dying. He might be dead, but enough respect. What a performance from Lamille. What, like, I don't know what else to say. We can do the rankings if you really want to. Where do you have him right now in your mind? Give me a number. Give me a number.
As an out of 10, that's gotta be like an 8 or a 9. I refuse to give tens out too many times, but I think I think that's gotta be. It might even be a 9 because he put in some amazing, like the Fabian Ruiz chance in the first 5 minutes. That should have been a
Mm.
goal as well. That would have been another Yamal assist. So I don't think even though the goal was spectacular, I don't think it does him justice in terms of the impact he had in the game. He was so influential. And it's crazy what these young guys are doing on the wings. Even like Nico Williams still had he had a quiet game as well, and he was still pretty good. But Yamal, man, what a talent! Like, how many times have we seen like an experienced player just absolutely boot the shit out of it and blaze it over the goal, and you're just getting this kid like nice and calm, laying back, and it's just a pass. It's just a pass into the top corner off the post. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
It's ridiculous. And forget like the analytics side of it and like just thinking about what does he need to improve, what's he good at.
Hmm.
you it's not basketball. That's been made very clear over the past month. But so much is the narrative around this week around Cooper Flag in the USA basketball team. He's
Yeah.
training. He's straight out of high school, and the same thing happened with Kevin Durant. Same thing happened with LeBron James, and we're seeing a 16-year-old in his first season. You could make a very strong case. You can make a very strong case, and no one right now can argue he's the best right winger in the world. In
That
the 2030 World Cup, Saj, he's going to be 22 years old.
that's crazy. You got okay. That is a crazy statement when you put it. I think I saw something where like Jesus Navas is actually older than Yamal's dad. I don't know how
Yeah,
legit that is. Is that legit? Okay, then
I'd assume so. I'd assume so.
yeah.
And Yamal's dad's quite a character. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say. You saw, you saw Yamal actually say at the end of the game, "Talk now, talk now."
Mm.
because Rabiot was trying to get in his head, trying to say, well, he hasn't done it against us. And very Draymond Green-esque.
Yeah,
Mbappe couldn't be the Steph Curry and save the day today for France. And
yeah,
the second point I had down for today, Deschamps ends the game for France with the lineup that they probably should have started. Barkla looked electric in the
mm,
last 20 minutes. Mbappe was closer to goal, I guess, in the last 20 minutes. And I don't know, he just seems so out of it. We'll talk about him as well. And in terms of the midfield, the structure at the start of the game, what did you make of it? It was the usual Tchouaméni, Kante, Rabiot, ultra
yeah.
defensive for me.
I found like they couldn't progress through the middle very well at all, especially in the
Ah,
first half an hour. It felt like everything was coming down either Teo Hernandez. Okay,
ah.
put it down, son. We can only see the shirt so many times. God. But yeah, everything felt like it was coming down Teo Hernandez's side, or it's a long
Hmm,
diag to Usman Dembele. Even on Dembele's side, it didn't even feel like it was coming through Kunde. It felt
hmm.
like it was just a long diag to him when he had open space because they were overloading the left side all the time. And then, yeah, it's just like the centre backs would pass to Kante or Rabiot, but it wouldn't progress. That's what it felt like. So like, and we saw the goal was, I guess, against the run of play in a way where you get the ball to Mbappe, let him advance, and then he just puts in a beautiful cross because world class player, he's got to put a good end product in the end anyway. And Kolo Muani actually puts it away, which yeah, good on him. But bar that one chance, it didn't feel like they were progressing the ball like effectively. It felt like it took like 20 minutes to get it up. That's obviously an
Yeah.
exaggeration, but yeah,
The
it
the
definitely felt
only
forced.
the only time I was sort of like, okay, we're on here is when Theo and Killian had space on the left hand side.
Yeah.
When they had space, it was fine. And I
Mm.
felt like after watching the first 15 minutes, that was the recipe for the rest of the game. But they just couldn't get to it. They couldn't get the ball out of midfield. Most of the time, when they were playing it out, they would end up clearing it or they would just win it back and have to immediately clear the ball.
Mm.
And Spain, I said this in the last episode, as much credit you're going to give them for keeping the ball, winning the ball back is an absolute priority for these guys. Morata, what he does off the ball, he's a dog. There's a reason why Atletico still plays him
Yeah.
significant minutes. In the midfield, you've got Rodri, who is, I've seen on some other podcasts, probably the only player that's kept his like club form, like going
Mm.
on into the tournament. And
Yeah.
it's very rare. Probably him and Saliba come to mind in terms of that. Like they've just
Yeah.
gone on business as usual. This is
Yeah.
how they play at club level. Exact same. And so much of the pressing work that midfield did today, it was
Oh
too
man,
easy. It was too
how
easy.
how good was the press? Like I don't think it was so hard to like beat the press the entire game, and like it's I know we're talking about Spain and like they're known for this sort of thing, I guess,
Mm,
but that press was it was actually very noticeable that Spain were like sorry not Spain France were cramped in the midfield purely because of the
mm,
press. They were the second Kante touched the ball, the second Rabiot touched the ball, the second Tchouaméni touched the ball. They had like two people surrounding him at all times. And like
mm,
it felt like a swarm. It felt like the middle of the ground was completely packed. But then when Spain had the ball, it felt like there was all the space in the world.
mm,
So I'm not too sure
100%.
where the tactics went wrong for France, where they didn't recognize that themselves at halftime or
I
something.
I was disappointed mainly when France were defending how deep Tchouaméni was, almost
Mm,
like a third centre back, with how deep he's sort of sitting off.
yeah,
And we might as well talk about it now. I was going to talk about pressing a little bit later,
yeah,
but I felt like, it's an 11v11 game, but Killian doesn't track back. So that's the
yeah,
first domino effect. Ousmane Dembele doesn't track back. That's the second domino effect. And then Murata, most of the game, he's not actually occupying the back line. He's dropping in, he's moving to
mm,
the left, he's moving to the right. He's all over the pitch, and probably the most I've seen play like a false nine. And then you see at the end of the game, they play without a striker. You see them play
yeah,
without a striker. So you've got two guys that aren't tracking back. And then you've got one guy who two centre backs were meant to be marking. Now the two centre backs are just like, yeah, cool. I don't know what I'm doing here. So you've got three men in the overload, and that's why it looks so easy. Towards the end of the game, yes, we had that one nice Mbappe chance, guys. But towards the end of the game, that is not enough. It felt like Man City closing a game out because of how many options they had on the ball. You saw how many reckless fouls towards the end of the game. That's frustration, I know, but it's also a testament to how much distance there is between Spain and the opposition in the closing parts of the game. And I just hope, I just hope what you saw today and what you saw against Germany, this is the team that should win the Euros. And what happens in the Euros is not a matter of shoulda, coulda, woulda, because we see how it plays out. England loses last time against Italy. We see France lose in 2016. It never goes as scripted. So I'm just hoping we get to see, because a lot of people don't know, but I've actually got like three teams
Oh God.
in the semi-finals, and
I commented this on your Instagram. This is
yeah,
unbelievable behavior.
it's,
Absolutely
I'm a
unbelievable. Cannot
hoe.
be getting away with
I'm
this.
I'm a hoe. I'm a hoe.
Fair.
There you
Yeah,
go.
self-aware.
I'm
Fair
an
enough.
international football hoe. Everyone should know this by now. I have favorite players. If they happen to have different citizenship statuses, that is not my fault. That we, that is not my fault. We have no stake in the Euros. We are from Asia. We are from Oceania.
Yeah.
I don't even know where we're from these days. Yeah, I still find it crazy that Australia's in Asia, not Oceania. Like when New Zealand's like next door.
Yeah, but if you saw the competition in Oceania and the fact that we win like 15-0 every game, it makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Next talking point I had though, Saj. Spain never looked tame.
Hmm.
Today, Morata didn't have a great game. He barely got a shot off.
Hmm.
Nico Williams, like you said, was not really involved. They didn't really play down the left too much. And Fabian Ruiz, who everyone's saying player of the tournament, which don't disagree with, had a relatively quiet day today.
Yeah.
Missed a chance as well. Despite all of that, still looked so threatening going forward, mainly because they're a team. They're a team. You saw even with Jesus Navas on the right hand side in that first half, they were still able to use him. Carvajal does a lot of different things. Carvajal was popping into midfield. He was roaming around wherever he wanted. But Jesus Navas was just your up, down, touchline winger, and they were able to make it work. And it's a testament to how game smart everyone is. That okay, this guy's doing this, then we just got to play with that. And they're so fluid in all of their motions. You don't see that from any other team. You don't see that from France. You barely saw it from Germany. Probably their undoing when you saw like Musiala being asked to play on the wing a bit more, and Sane not being versatile enough. Havertz even. So many question marks I have on other teams that this team answers. Do you think this Spain team is long lasting? Do you think like we're gonna fear this team with years to come? Yes, Yamal's got time, but is this just a one-time wonder with the whole team?
Uh, I don't think it's a one-time wonder, but they also
Mm.
have the potential of losing some key players in the near future, and replacing that with a similar type of archetype would be interesting. For example,
Mm.
who takes the striker position
When
uh,
Morata retires in the Hall of Fame,
or when he's unable to when it's
play
like not
football.
feasible to keep him in the game? Yeah, it's just not, it won't be good enough.
You
So
guys are so rude, man. You
yeah,
guys are
well,
so rude.
I'm not rude. It's just the evidence. I can only follow where the
Evidence,
evidence has led me. And to be
evidence.
fair, there can be outlier performances. The Euros has been an outlier for Morata.
Outlier. He's
Yeah,
the fourth highest goal scorer for this country.
yeah. But like, who else has been striker? Who else have they produced? It's got David
I mean,
Villa, Diego Costa.
Fernando Torres, Raul,
Yeah,
Morientes.
see, I think he's been given too many chances, and
I'm not gonna lie. Sergio Ramos is top 10 on this list, and so
Mhm.
is David Silva, and that brings a few question marks on the reputation of this list.
Exactly.
In terms of strikers.
Yeah, look, as it like, but going back to the point, as it, like
Yeah.
Morata has been a very crucial part of this team.
Thank you.
But how do you find someone who fits a similar type of role, who can play that kind of false nine when needed, but also like the out and out last man.
Bro, you saw it today. It's Danny Olmo.
But I like him in that sort of
Yeah.
attacking mid, just in behind the
Okay.
striker role, because
I
that's when
I
he
do
does it.
too. I do too. But I need you to remember, La Masia has some of the finest domestic products you've seen.
Yeah,
Pedri,
yeah,
Gavi, Fermin Lopez, they're all coming through. I don't know about the last one, but Pedri and Gavi, I know they're going to run this goddamn team.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, look,
Rodri,
I don't have any issues with the midfield because, like you said, you've got all these people coming in. Rodri, yeah, actually, maybe Rodri's the only one that's a little bit iffy. Because, like, can you get someone as good as Rodri?
mm,
Because Rodri is almost your perfect, like I mentioned this maybe a couple of videos before. Rodri is almost your perfect replacement for a player like Busquets. They do similar sort of things, and they're just as like good at executing what they need to do as each other, right? So,
yeah,
can you find someone that's as clinical as both of those two? It's Spain, so most likely yes, they just have this ability to produce players like that. But
100%.
other than that, you've got your the core is pretty damn young, man. You've got your wingers
And
set, hopefully. Yeah, go on.
and we were going into this tournament having question marks. Cucurella's the
Mm,
starting left back.
yeah,
Carvajal's picked over Pedro Porro. So you've got Pedro Porro and
yeah,
you've got Grimaldo coming in on the fullback flanks.
yeah.
So the succession plan, I feel, is there for everyone. Just that defensive midfield, I 100% agree, bro.
Mm,
That's the area where I'm like, I don't know if this is going to go their way.
yeah.
I'm very curious to see once everyone's fit, and I'm praying Pedri's going to be fit, man. Pedri, Gavi, what's the plan? Because if you really want to do the false nine stuff again, Gavi is. I feel like Gavi just puts his hand up for whatever the team needs. Like I've
Mm,
seen him on the wing last season or the season before. I've seen him in midfield. I've seen him up front. He's just and he's gonna wear the number 9 as well. I don't know how I feel about that one. I do not know how I feel about that one at all. And do you think like they would just bench these guys because Fabian Ruiz Rodri looks like a very good plan
man,
A right now?
yeah. I feel like it's so hard to say. Oh yeah, Fabian Ruiz doesn't have much of a future in this team, in the Spanish team. After like the performance putting these Euros, he has been really good.
Mm,
Admittedly, this game was a little bit of a stinker. And can you believe that we said Nico Williams had a bit of a stinker, Murata had a bit of a stinker,
yeah.
Fabian Ruiz had a bit of a stinker, and they still managed to score two goals within like 10 minutes of each other.
Mm,
That's a scary thought because I think you have a performance like this, you're most likely not going to have a performance like that in the final. It's
mm,
scary what they're going to do to whoever comes out. But yeah, to say Fabian Ruiz, his future in in this Spain team may not last because of this incoming talent, I think it's a bit harsh. I think someone's going to have to knock him off that pedestal first because he's put a high bar right now, and if he's able to maintain this sort of like these performances, then I don't think you can justify putting that no matter how much talent Gabby has or like Pedri has made his way into the team. That's fine, but yeah, how do you knock off someone like that who's been performing has been a vital piece for your team, and you can't really take out Rodri. He's your best center defensive mid, and
yeah.
Danny Olmo has also been performing. Like it's I know obviously things change a lot in the span of a year or two, but I'd be very surprised to see Ruiz not staying in this team until he's like absolutely like rubbish and needs to be kicked
Look,
off essentially.
yeah. Well, I'm just trying to have a look at like where Ruiz came in. So he doesn't play for a good like 2 year stretch from the Euros to the World Cup. So that's
Yeah,
2020 to 2022. Oh, sorry, those 2 seasons because the
yeah,
Euros got moved up. And then he comes back in for the European qualifiers against Norway, and he's been basically a borderline starter most of the time. Obviously, like they would have qualified really quickly in their group, so they've been rotating. But when he's played full 90s. But the goal scoring, which has turned everyone's eyes, the playmaking in the Euros, it's not really something in the past in the qualification which sort of brought attention to him. And I'm just wondering, would we be talking about him? Are we falling into that trap of like, if he didn't score, would we still be talking about him?
mm,
Because
he
he's been
started
very nice
he
on the ball.
yeah. I liked him on the ball. Maybe because he did score in like the first few group
Mm,
stage games, right? And that's where all the attention started getting on him. So I think you
yeah.
make a good point. But I still think like his value is still what he does on the ball. Like some of the through balls he's played, some of the
Mm,
like mainly the passing, the pressing, the way he gets out of pressing. Like he does have the fundamentals of a good midfielder.
mm.
So I think it's a bit harsh to say we're falling in love with him because of the goals and the assists. But I get what you're saying. I don't think I would have properly recognized his play without like seeing the first game against Croatia and seeing the sort of output he was having.
Mm.
Because then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, this might be a guy to watch for the whole tournament. And it turns out he was, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Last talking point about the game before we move on to the other semi-final, guys. Where is Mbappe? Where is Mbappe? Where is Mbappe? I feel like, I've been trying to build this revenge arc for him over the past few years, and it only gets deeper and deeper in terms of these moments. And regardless of where he stands in football, regardless of how good of a footballer he is, it's staying on his legacy, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't look nice. It doesn't feel nice. A tournament like this as well
Mm.
is really bad, really bad. I really thought he was gonna follow up on the World Cup, where I thought he was one of the best players in the world, no doubt about it at all. But this tournament, man, the few chances he's had in open play, he hasn't been good enough. He has not
Mm.
been good enough. Do you see him bouncing back, or do you just see this being like an eternal struggle for him? Because
Ah,
that France attack, as long as Deschamps is there, bro, it's going to be disjointed. So, do you
yeah,
see him
but
bouncing back?
no, I mean, it's like asking Ronaldo at his prime, do you see him bouncing back after a terrible World Cup? It's like, yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, but
He's
Ronaldo had a
world class.
terrible. Uh,
Yeah, but no, even more the point, Ronaldo did not have the best support staff, and you can't say that France isn't a good team. I think they just need to find a right midfielder to replace bloody poor Pogba on the team, right? So, like, and the amount of times I've seen this quote from Mbappe, like, oh, before I used to be able to run blindly because Pogba would just put the ball on my feet, and
he
like,
could. He could.
I agree. I think they got the midfield wrong the entire tournament because they couldn't score goals, and I'm so surprised that they couldn't recognize this. I'm so surprised that Griezmann wasn't playing that 10 role to help facilitate. Yeah. I don't know. I get what you're saying about Deschamps and like how it's always going to be disjointed, but still, like it's not like he hasn't won before. He's won a World Cup in like
I
2018 was
know.
the one he won
I
the World
know.
Cup. He's won.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
knows what winning means. He knows how to do it. So I feel like it's just you
No, no,
reflect
no.
on this, you realize you're too defensive, and then you put in a midfield that can actually support your best
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, I agree. But it does feel like as long as it's going to be disjointed,
Mm.
I feel like there's a clear solution. Every time he was doubled throughout this tournament, you didn't feel scared. You did not feel
Yeah.
too scared. The only time I've really feared Mbappe, even going back to that World Cup, is when he's one on one or he's playing quick 1-2s.
Yeah.
And the latter of which is passing is not the best compared to the other superstars
No.
over the last decade. So I feel like there's a formula to stop him. And I agree with what you're saying. You get more out of Theo Hernandez. Maybe Camavinga replaces
Mm.
Rabiot.
Yeah.
You have Griezmann as the 10 instead of Kante as the defensive midfielder. Just have Tchouameni there, protecting the back line. I think there's a formula in place, especially with Barcola on the wings as well,
Mm.
to have everything else around him to make it work. This is an 11-man sport. It's not basketball. I'm not ever going to criticize Mbappe to that point, but I did feel like he could have done more. He could have
I
done more.
isn't see. I think because he's world class, we expect him to make use of those chances that he gets. Right. So we only
Mm,
saw him really get two significant chances. That was the
mm,
cross in for the goal, which fair enough, and then the shot at the 85th minute, where that's probably the best chance he's going to get all tournament, where he's one on one with a defender who is struggling to keep up with him backpedaling,
mm.
but then loses composure and absolutely blazes over. And I think a player like him who wants to see more opportunities like that, which he's not going to get with the midfield that he has. which I
Mm,
find crazy. That back line is one of the most stacked back lines I've ever seen.
mm.
And to think that, nah, I need like three defensive midfielders in front of that. I don't trust them that much. Like, do you understand what? Like, I don't get it. It's,
Yeah.
ah,
I don't know. I don't
it's
know, man.
literally what Teo Hernandez, Saliba, Upamecano, Jules Koundé. All four of them should be like our world class defenders playing Champions League football through and through.
Hey.
Well,
Kunde
okay,
question marks. Kunde question marks. The
yeah.
other three, yeah.
Nah,
The other
even
three,
Koundé,
I'll
bro.
back it.
He's been like an absolute staple at Barcelona. He's been sure he's had like iffy performances, but he's still
Yeah,
been like
he's
one of
not a
their more
right back.
renowned defenders.
He's not a right back.
He's been
He,
converted as of recently. He's played a
bro,
lot of like
fuck.
fullback roles recently.
Yeah, forget the conversion stuff, bro. Let's talk about England, Netherlands. Okay, we're gonna do two things, yeah, about
Yeah.
this game. I want your game prediction and I want your score prediction because apparently, I'm conflating the two. So tell me how you think this game is gonna play out, my friend.
uh, I think it's going to be a similar game to this game in the sense that I can see Netherlands kind of dominating the ball.
Mm.
But here's my bias coming out. I still think England get the win here. Um, I just think I don't know. This team has managed to produce when they've absolutely need to produce when like in the stinkiest way, in like the worst kind of football way. But they've
Mm.
always managed to escape, like kind of scrape through. That's been like the calling card of the Southgate era, where it's like, all right, we're gonna do the bare minimum to get through, but we're gonna get through. And I still, even though I think Netherlands were really dominating in the quarters, I still have
Yeah,
question marks about this team, about their ability to score outside of Cody Gakpo essentially. Um,
I would love to
yeah,
grab my jersey, but it's a bit
of
too
course
far
you would.
away. It's
What
a
your
bit too
Memphis
far
Depay
away.
jersey, you
Yeah,
absolute hoe. Oh my god.
I got the Memphis Depay jersey. We packed that as well. We packed that as well. Okay.
But yeah,
I got the call last night.
yeah,
I'm in my heart. I'm feeling a Memphis Depay man of the match.
nah,
I've been waiting on this for like 10 years,
10 years, yeah.
but it's about to come. I trust me. But I can't honestly see England scoring outside of set pieces.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I look, they're a similar sort of situation as France. The team feels disjointed.
Mm.
Probably the most fluid we've seen this team is when they went 1-0 down against oh my god, who did they play last game? Why have I forgotten this? Who scored?
Turkey.
Turkey. No,
Yeah.
not Turkey. Was it Turkey?
They had Netherlands had Turkey.
No,
England
no, I'm talking about
had
England.
England had Switzerland.
That's right. Sorry. But yeah, I think England looked the most fluid after conceding to Switzerland because
Mm.
Southgate finally made some changes.
Yeah.
And then we can now see people in their right positions. But I don't think they'll start that game like that. So I agree. I don't think you're going to see too many chances outside of set pieces, especially in the beginning with the starting lineup, if
Mm.
it's going to be similar to what we've seen so far starting this tournament.
Yeah.
But I can just see, I can see Netherlands scoring in the first 30 minutes, not through Memphis, through Wout Weghorst. Like I'm telling you, Weghorst is going to start and score. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling
No.
you now.
No.
That's my
Memphis has
prediction.
got the headband on, bro. He's ready. He's ready.
Nah, yeah, he's
And
ready to
the thing,
stay on the bench,
yeah,
bro. You must use
it,
this
it
person.
looks it looks like Memphis is getting cleaner as he goes through the tournament, like on the ball and
Yeah,
everything. Like he hasn't been as slouchy. He hasn't been as like very like, oh yeah, I can muck around on the ball. He's played with a lot more like direction
yeah,
to his game. Trust me. Him and Gakpo is actually like for they're gonna face Walker and Stones. I don't hate that matchup. I do not hate that matchup.
the way Walker's been playing, I think
Yeah,
that
yeah,
this suits Gakpo so well
mm,
to run at someone who's so out of form, who's been out of
mm,
position the entire tournament. Like he should
mm,
be scoring. That's what I'm saying. I
yeah,
think both teams are going to score here. I just think we'll see England go down 1-0. They'll get a bit more aggressive because like they're forced to.
mm,
They might get something back through some spectacular. Someone in that front line will do something like insane. Maybe Harry Kane this time. We've seen Bellingham, we've seen Saka. It's got to be someone else now. It just won't be
Maybe.
Foden. That's my thought. Is it won't be Foden. Foden's gonna find his way to the bench again and be like, "Oh yes, I did something in this team," but then he'll be fuck all. That's my prediction, dude. But I reckon England still pull it out.
Okay. Can you tell me your player of the tournament? Let's go through the four teams, right? Because
Yeah.
we know by now player of the tournament is going to be based on whichever team wins. Let's go through the three teams. So if it was going to be Spain, who's your mind with?
I think we've mentioned it a lot already. I think
Mm.
it has to be Fabian Ruiz.
Okay.
Even though I feel like the midfield has been what's winning them games. Like as much as the wingers have been amazing, as much as the defense has been pretty solid, I think the midfield has been winning the games. And if I'm thinking between who are the four main ones starting, it's been what Olmo, Pedri, Rodri, Fabian Ruiz,
It
and
has to be Fabian Ruiz out of those
yeah,
four. Yeah.
exactly right. Like that, he's
Mm.
the one that stands out, and
I'm
I
sneaking in Yamal. I'm sneaking in Yamal
I
because
think that's
if
valid.
he plays well in the final, like 2 goals or like at least 1 goal contribution, I can see his name being floated in. And
Yeah,
for as much as I want to say it's about the performance, it's not. It's not. When these awards judged, it's a cruel world. It's a
yeah.
cruel world. It's a cruel world. If Netherlands wins the Euros, which is a scary sound to put out there, Cody Gakpo.
I think it has to be. He's been the only sign of consistency in that team, right? I mean,
I would argue Memphis has been consistent, just not in the way
mm,
you would like.
exactly. Consistently shit is what you bet.
Okay, you wait, you wait, you wait and see. You wait and see. That's the good thing about international football. As much as
Doesn't
I want
take
to
it.
analyze and care, I really don't care sometimes. And
Yeah.
I'm just like enthralled by the narrative, enthralled by players taking on their own decisions with how they play the game. Less structure makes football a lot more fun for me. If
Mm.
England wins, are we canceling the player of the tournament award? Is that what we're doing?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't know. I
There's
don't
a.
know.
Look, the best shot is Saka probably right now. But like honestly, if can you give it to the refs? Can you give it to VAR? Can you give it
No,
to
I
anyone other than like? Can you give it to the assistant coach? Not even
yeah,
Southgate.
yeah.
Uh,
I think I'd give it to Jude Bellingham, to be totally honest.
For what? What has he done? He scored one bicycle kick.
I
Is
mean,
it a,
yeah, if he didn't do that, that seemed like a very pivotal 94th minute goal,
yeah, but
man.
if Saka doesn't score his goal, then they don't go through. It's 1-0 to
Yeah,
Switzerland, and they're
but
out of
Saka
the
doesn't
quarters.
have the stain of being made to play fullback alongside Eberechi Eze. Two of the best wingers in the Premier League were playing
Yeah,
fullback, Saj,
that's
for
what
more than 10 minutes.
but like the reason they're playing there is because they need to be on the pitch, and like you can't. And Bellingham is there. I've always thought Bellingham was a box to box midfielder, so I'm really surprised they're playing him cam, even though like he scores goals for Real Madrid.
Ah,
But I think he's playing out of position. To be fair, I think they should have taken Madison, or they play Foden in there, and
nah,
you play like
I feel like this is what he is. In the very first game England played against Serbia,
yeah,
he was doing this and a bit more. He was dropping in deeper whenever
yeah,
he wanted the ball. But I feel like there might have been more of a direct message now with Kobe Mino in the team that he
yeah,
doesn't need to pick the ball up off the defense nearly as much.
yeah,
And Foden has also played more centrally than ever.
yeah,
So it's just a means of like we can't have everyone behind the ball. So
yeah,
I'm okay with that. But the other guys, I was gonna say Mark Guehi, but he's suspended obviously in that last game against
mm,
Switzerland. I felt like he was very consistent throughout the tournament. But yeah, if England win, Bukayo Saka is probably where my mind will be at because I it's really up to the next two games. If England
yeah.
go and win all the way, I
I,
can't see them doing anything without him playing well because I don't trust the other guys. I don't trust the other guys. Copa America has been on, Saj.
yeah.
I have not been locked in, so I'm gonna need your guidance.
Uh,
We got two semifinals today and tomorrow.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
one's first up today?
I
Is
think
it
it's
Argentina?
Uruguay. I thought it was
No, it's
Uruguay. Is
Argentina
it?
today.
Oh, okay.
Argentina versus Canada today, Uruguay versus Colombia tomorrow.
Mm.
What are we saying? What are we saying? Do we believe in Jonathan David's Canadians? Do we believe in the
So
Canadians or?
I've got to admit, I wasn't as locked
Mm,
in as you, but I've been reading some
mm,
stuff, and it looks like Jesse March and that
mm.
Canadian team is
Yeah,
doing really good. And I think, funnily enough, the people getting the most backlash out of this is the US men's team because supposedly
yeah,
they had
I've
the
been
chance
seeing
to
that.
sign Jesse Marsh themselves. So, I mean, I'm surprised they're in the semis. I'd be very surprised if Argentina don't go through. From what I've been seeing, they've been playing very good football and dominating football, and our boy Garnacho's been playing decently when he gets some game time. So I feel like if I'm going to back anyone, it'll most likely be Argentina. That's also me just going with kind
Yeah,
of what's expected. But
I know, I know. You, some people make mistake. Like I don't know why. Like I was watching was it the quarters with Jono,
yeah,
and he was telling me like Argentina, and I'm like, why do you feel a fondness towards Messi right now? You've never been a Barca fan, you've never been an Argentina fan. He's like, this is about legacy. This is about legacy. And you're seeing every guy
yeah,
who rode the Messi versus Ronaldo debate on the Barcelona Argentina side really, really talk their shit over the last 2 years,
yeah,
and now every little thing matters towards his legacy. But I would just say, it didn't seem like he was too fussed. He was smiling after he missed the penalty. His
yeah,
legacy, I hate to tell you guys, it's very, very secure. It's
yeah,
very secure. There is no need for the insecurity. I know it comes from a lack of height. I
yeah.
know it comes from a lot of things.
It's coming
But
from someone who's 5'7" themselves, but sure.
no one needs to know my height. That's just my listed height. I'm actually like Kevin Durant, so I had to
2 inches
had to
taller,
put
yeah.
myself yeah I had to put myself down to let me play on the wings.
Respect that, respect that. Yeah, the funny thing is,
Why
I
are we
feel like
so worried about legacy, man?
yeah,
The,
does the Copa America change anything for Messi? I feel like he's still
maybe a
what
Ballon d'Or, if like, but
I, me
I
personally, I
can't
think
see them doing that.
I feel like some of the Ballon d'Ors, like some of the Ballon d'Ors in the recent years, have kind of made it lose its value a little bit, just because like I don't, isn't Messi deserves to have the most Ballon d'Ors? I don't think he deserves to have all of his Ballon d'Ors. So I don't know if that's a scale that I take very seriously. Like
Hmm.
2013, I know it went to Ronaldo. I know that one specifically went to Ronaldo, but that should have gone to Ribery. I know they were going to give was it the COVID year one, Lewandowski to Messi?
Lewandowski, and they cancelled it.
Yeah, so like I feel like if it doesn't fit the narrative of like some spectacularly marketable player, then it you know it doesn't make sense. So Ballon d'Or's not something
Hmm.
I'm taking seriously. I'm more thinking just like international tournaments, but I feel like because I don't know if he's the real driving force behind this Argentinian team for being quite as good as they are. So and like again, like I'm saying, I haven't really been watching this game, so I don't know how much this is affecting his legacy. For me, this it feels
Let's
like
see.
all right, yeah, nice,
Let's see,
yeah,
because I know he'll sneak a top three finish if they win this Copa, just by
really,
playing for Miami this whole year.
yeah,
I think he'll sneak a top three finish. They'll find a way to justify it, but it is what it is. Before we wrap up, Uruguay versus Colombia. Colombia, James Rodriguez is running back the show. Uruguay has my boy Facundo Pellistri.
Darwin,
Uh,
your boy Darwin,
no,
Darwin
no,
Nunez, yeah,
I'm not a Darwin supporter. I don't believe in
you
anything
last week
you
you told
guys.
me he's your favorite striker in Premier League history, so I don't know what's going on.
My favorite striker in Premier League history is probably closer to Anthony Martial than you would think, which is sad to say, which is really sad
Yep,
to say. But I
it
think we'll wrap
is.
up there, fellas. The copper is on through the day. Watch it if you can. Some of us will be working. Jono will be locked in. That's for sure. That's for sure. If you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button. It helps. Share the video with everyone else after the stream. That'll be very much appreciated. But that is all for now. We'll be back tomorrow with England versus Netherlands. Bye for now.
So yeah.